How you doing? My name is Daniel Adams. Welcome back to the Red and Black Wrestling, and I am joined by a very special guest this evening, Luke Griffin of Chaminade, who is the 2024 the 101-pound CHSAA State Champion. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know you had a very busy schedule, so thank you for coming out today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Really great stuff that you guys do, and I'm blessed to be part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Even getting to see you at the state tournament this past weekend and everything like that, kind of catching up and everything like that. It's been nice. So how long have you been wrestling entirely? When was this journey of wrestling started for you?
Yeah, so I started in seventh grade, a lot later than a lot of kids. So
Mm,
my cousin wrestled um, in high school, and he was graduated high school in like 2018. He was all county. So yeah, me and my brothers. I'm actually a triplet. So yeah, me and my brothers. We started wrestling in seventh grade. I didn't really take it serious
mm.
until like after freshman year. So seventh and eighth grade, it was baseball was my main sport for a while up until like I took wrestling seriously. Um, and yeah, only had like 5 matches in middle school. I wasn't very good. I was like 2 and 3. Uh, yeah,
I totally understand because I started wrestling around the same year. I was first introduced to it by my older brother because we kind of just had like a makeshift middle school team kind of like just thrown together at our school at one point, and we were into WWE, so we kind of was like,
right.
oh, wrestling, that sounds fun. And then it was just like, this is not what we thought it was. Obviously we stuck through it and everything like that, and I'm very happy that you decided to do the same. So when did that decision ultimately lead you to going into Chaminade and going into their school for us?
Yeah. So originally, like I wasn't actually supposed to go to Chaminade. So I live in Garden City. It's the town right next to Chaminade.
Got it.
Chaminade's in Mineola. And all along I went to Garden City Public Schools all the way up through eighth grade. Um, Funny enough, during COVID, I was like bored. I know we're gonna talk about this later, but I started making like videos and stuff, and then my mom signed me up for this film camp going into my freshman year. It was actually at Chaminade, so I went. And then they asked me, they were like, "Hey, we'll see you in September," and I was like, "No, I'm actually going to Garden City." And then they were like, "Hey, do you want to take a look?" And kind of fell in love, and the rest is history. But yeah, it was a great decision for me because I'm still able to see my friends from Garden City and my brothers, but
Mm.
kind of be independent and you know create my own path.
100%. And that's a very awesome story, kind of just happening to just be there on like a visit, doing something like club related. And then they're like, hey, you kind of just want to like take a tour around here, you know? And I've actually have never been able to just the competition schedule. I've never been to Chaminade High School actually, but
Really?
I've
Wow.
heard how beautiful of a campus you
Yeah.
guys have and everything like that. So I can
Yeah.
only imagine being thrown into it the way that you were. Um, and I'm sure that with the coaching staff that you guys have there, you guys have were able to build a very great bond and everything like that. I know even Coach Accordino, participating with like Savage and Ascend and everything like that,
Right.
which I believe you participated in as well. So how does being able to work with these coaches after school, like during Chaminade practice, and then being able to get help from them in the club practice as well, like on and off the mat.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like really blessed to have an amazing coaching staff at Chaminade. We have 8 full-time coaches on staff. Coach Agardino is Division I All-American at Hofstra. Coach Foxen, he wrestled at Brown. Coach Cole wrestled for a year at Virginia Tech. So we really have a lot of really great assets in the room and some really high-level technique that they show. That's awesome. Like our practices are, you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but some of them are. I've had some bad memories of them, but really at the end of the day, the coaches are so caring. Uh, Staying after, watching film, texting with me, and then outside of Chaminade, I primarily train at Ascend under Coach Craig Battagliano. I've been there since after my freshman year when I decided to go all in with wrestling. And he's been really helpful for me. He's really technical and also just aside from the wrestling, all my coaches have been mentors to me in life. And like I know I can text them about anything that's going on, whether it's wrestling related or not. So I'm just really grateful to have all those guys in my corner.
Yeah, and they're really great staff, very high IQ with their wrestling, like you said, being competing at that high level. Very nice guys. I've even had the pleasure of being coached against by them. I know that's kind
Yeah,
of like an odd compliment to give, but me and my brothers, we were always fans of like seeing how other teams and stuff like that kind of operate and how like they structure like their coaching and everything like that. And we'll notice in small details and we'll be like, oh, like the way that they motivate their guy is very
yeah,
very nice. So, like we need to kind of do that a bit more, and we'll try to implement things like that. So we're always learning even things from other teams and everything like that. And you guys do have an amazing staff, a great staff. So I can only imagine all the things that you're able to kind of pick their brains about and everything like that. Um, so kind of diving a little bit deeper into that, what does the Chaminade practice structure typically look like for you?
yeah. So we have, I think, like a unique kind of structure. So earlier in the season, practices are long, a lot of conditioning. As the season goes on, the practices get shorter and shorter in time. So kind of treat it, kind of like it's basically like a college program. That's how the coaches operate it. Um, we in November when we start November 1st every year. It's Coach Cole always has the day circled on his calendar. Um, so the practices are usually ran by either Coach Accordino or Coach Foxen for the most part. And it's a nice balance because at the beginning we do a nice long warm up, stretching, like they emphasize all that, and then we gradually get into it. We start with our drills that we do a lot, flexibility, and then we get a hard drill in. And the nice thing about it, it's like the same drill pretty much every day. Like it's coming. It's kind of just part of our warm up. Like we do the exact same, pretty much the exact same warm up, exact same drill. And then we'll either break off into usually for the most part technique. And it's really nice that we get like a lot of different techniques. So I wouldn't say that we just learned like one thing. They kind of look at our matches, the recent matches and competitions, and pick apart, our wrestling and say like, hey, like as a whole, holistically, we need to work on this as a team.
Mhm.
And yeah, the technique, it's really nice. And then we get into our live, but to be honest, we don't do crazy amount of live. A lot of like play wrestling and like kind of like high level stuff, which is really nice that they've incorporated that in because I don't think most schools are doing that
Yeah.
kind of deliberate, you know, wrestling because most schools are just like, hey, yeah, we'll go live, but honestly, like play wrestling is really important and just continuing the position. That's one of the things they emphasize. Being multi-dimensional wrestlers where they don't really know what's coming. Like some schools, they're like, all right, 100%, they do cradle every time on top. But they show us a lot of different stuff. That's kind of nice. So we have a really well versed arsenal.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. Finding like that balance, right? Because like that's how like sometimes if you're going too much with your foot on the pedal, like on the gas, sometimes guys get hurt. Sometimes if you have your
Yeah,
foot too much on the brake, you may not be doing enough. So it's kind of finding that balance and kind of keeping your team healthy and where they need to be competing at in terms of like that level and keeping like their bodies and everything where they need to be so that they're not getting injured or putting themselves on the shelf long term. And play wrestling is a very, very um, high level but key aspect of practices that I feel like aren't getting taken
yeah, definitely.
by a
And
lot of
then
rooms as much. Like
even
I was
some
introduced,
good rooms.
yeah, and like I feel like now play wrestling is kind of this thing that you only hear about from like the elite wrestlers that they're doing, but it's not that hard of a thing to do. You kind of just flowing through the positions. It's like a take and give, right?
Right. Yeah,
Flowing through the position, kind of understanding how you get to each position. Um, and it's honestly a lot of fun, but I feel like a lot of rooms are kind of missing that
yeah,
um from their practices as well. So let's get into 2024. We're at St. Anthony's High School
yeah,
for the CHSAA State Championships, and I believe you were the one seed that tournament.
Yeah,
Got a win over St. John the Baptist in the semifinals, and you had
I believe it was St. Joe's Collegiate.
it was collegiate, right? Okay,
Yeah,
and then you had Farrell's Lula in the
yeah.
finals. So talk us through that tournament, kind of like heading into St. Anthony's, that practice kind of leading into it. What was your thought space like? What was going on going into that tournament?
Yeah, so I mean, um, kind of backtracking. So I was gonna planning on going 108 the whole year, but I
Mhm.
certified for to go 101 after Christmas. So it was the like right after Christmas, one of the practices right after Christmas. It was I think Christmas was like a Monday or something. It was like the Tuesday, and then we had a dual meeting at St. John the Baptist on that Friday. And Coach Cole was like, "Yep, you're going 101 on Friday," and I was like, "Sure." But I didn't know like that decision really changed my wrestling because it gave me an opportunity. Like that weight class, to be honest, 108 was like really tough. You had Nison, you had Borwick, you had Cullen Edwards. The kid Lamada is pretty tough from Iona.
Yeah.
But that gave me an opportunity because like take the opportunities you have. I always want the best competition, but that was the opportunity that I was at hand, and that was giving me the best path to achieve my goal, which was to be a Catholic state champ. So I took the opportunity. That week was hard, and we'll probably talk about it about this past season, most currently, about like weight cutting stuff. But it was a really tough week, and I remember the last night before it was Thursday night, the Friday match against St. John's. I was staring up at my ceiling for 3 hours, couldn't fall asleep. Um, I ended up having to work out in the morning at home, working out when I got there. I think that was my worst wrestling match of all time. I won 3-2, or 4-2. Yeah, that was not good. But after that, I managed it really well. I think that's the big thing for a lot of weight cuts. Like once you get down once,
Mhm.
you can kind of, it gets easier. But yeah, it was a lot easier. I was eating a lot better. I just wasn't prepared for that. But that rest of the season, I was super disciplined. I went to Eastern States, went 0-2. I lost. Actually, I wrestled Fotis, Fotis, or
Oh yeah.
Fotis. Yeah, so I wrestled him twice my junior year. So the first time was at the MacArthur tournament here on Long Island. I beat him 2-1, and then he beat me at Eastern States 7-2, and then most recently this year he beat me. But yeah, I went 0-2 at Eastern States that year. Pretty disappointed about that, but I won the league. My goal last year was to win Catholic States.
Mhm.
This year, I didn't achieve my goal of placing at States, but I kind of had to reset my goals. So last year, going into Catholic States, really good week of practice, feeling good. Um, I was going, for the last 3 years, sophomore through senior year, my drilling partner has pretty much been Nicky Puglisi, who he was 116 last year, he was 24 this year. Um, it was funny. We had three of our best guys all at 124 this year.
Wow.
Kennedy, Finn, and him. Um, but yeah, it was a good week of practice. I felt really good. My mindset going in, really good headspace. Kind of just taking it one match at a time. Um, you know, yeah, and honestly in the finals, if you looked at, I hadn't wrestled Lula before that at the duels. But if you looked at like comparative scores, even like I thought it was going to be a really tough match.
Mhm.
That match, I just think I came in with a really really good mindset, and I was just like, you know what, there's nothing to lose. I'm just gonna go out there and wrestle hard, trying to put on a show for the crowd. Yeah, and I did that. To be honest, I was surprised. I was like, I thought it was gonna be really like 5-4 or something, but I was pumped. Um, yeah, and I got out on him early. Hit my high crotch, which a lot of people know me to do. Which I kind of think this past offseason I evolved more, I had more
Mhm.
attacks. Um, but yeah, I just kind of put it on him, and I think I kind of just broke him pretty much.
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
you got Cradle, I think it was, off of a high
I,
single, I think it was.
I hit a high C, and then I think just I hit a run double, and then I lifted him to his back. So
That's what it was. It was the lift pin.
yeah, I got two takedown, and then I think I got three swipes. I think it was like 5-0, and then They ran like a bar and stuck him. But yeah, that was awesome. For me to come from freshman year, I was 3-12. I placed sixth at our league tournament, going 0-3 because it was like a really small bracket.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, after that, I kind of went like all in. Sophomore year, I was like 19-12. I got third at leagues and sixth at Catholic States. Lost to Sprig, 12-8. It was a good match. But yeah, I think just the theme for me is just trying to, get a little bit better every day, keep stacking it up. I certainly made the biggest jump from my freshman to sophomore year, but I just want to keep making that jump. Um, and I think yeah, I was just so happy, really happy that I won Catholic States last year. And then I went into public states, and my goal was to win Catholic States. So I was kind of content with where I was, which thinking back, I should have kind of reset my goals. But
Yeah.
I wrestled two kids who placed Conzo and Ordello, so two kids from Long Island,
Oh yeah,
actually.
yeah. Tough
But
kid. I remember Orndell. I think he actually just placed up this weekend too.
yeah, he did. But yeah, that was a great year last year.
Yeah, and kind of like going back to like the whole weight cut aspect too. Like I feel like when you're cutting that kind of weight, the first person you got to beat is the scale. Like
Yeah,
it
definitely.
is, and it's like the worst feeling ever because you're like, am I going to make the weight? Am I going to not? It's like you're working out the morning of, and it's like everyone's watching you working out, and it's like, please stop looking at me.
Yeah, I
But
remember the scale was like fluctuating between like 0.2 over and on weight, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're." I was like, "Phew."
thank God. um, so then heading from that 2024 season, you won the 2024 Catholic State Championships. Um, fell a little bit short at the state tournament that year. We're heading into the 2025 season now, and now you're the guy.
Yeah,
You've already taken home the crown, and now people know as you're entering 108 pounds
yeah,
was this upcoming season. Um, you're the guy. There's a target payment on your back. And I'm sure you were
yeah,
probably aware of that.
yeah.
So
That definitely.
what was that like for you heading into the 2025 season?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely it was. A lot of people knew me. Like my junior year I was kind of just going. Like, not many people. I was kind of surprising people, but this past year, a lot of people knew me going into the season, which I think was good and bad. I mean, I motivated me to work harder. And although I fell short of my ultimate goal this year, thought I worked harder than I ever had. Um, and you know what? Like how I think about it is like control what you can control. Um, Work as hard as you can, and you know what? If someone else beats you, it is what it is. I think. Like I'm a big guy. Like just you can only do so much.
Yeah,
You can't
100%.
control other people. So yeah, going into the season, it was really nice. Senior year, I had a really good, off season training. I went to got like 50 matches, went to a ton of tournaments. Virginia Beach, I love Virginia Beach. It's a really fun tournament. Um, yeah, and training hard, primarily at Ascend. And so we had some open mats with Chaminade. Lifting, and then I came into the season, captain, get the center circle in the room, which is really nice. I've always kind of looked to be in that spot. And originally, so I certified for 108. I went 116 before Christmas.
And then so I actually wanted to go over something with you. I have it pulled up here. Let
Okay.
me see it. Let me know if you could see it. I know sometimes it kind of like lags out a little bit when it transitions.
Yeah, I got it.
Mhm. So we can kind of talk through this match. I know you talked about it a little bit before, but we can kind of take it up play by play.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and talk me through your match here, bud. This is your Catholic State Finals from last year.
Yeah, so I love St. Anthony's. The field house, it's really nice. I
It
wish
really
Catholic
did make a
State,
nice final setting.
yeah, I wish Catholic State's was there every year, but I heard next year it's gonna be in Buffalo. I don't know if that's true, but
Usually they have like a rotation where like 1 year is
Yeah,
upstate, 1 year is a city school, and then 2 years a Long Island school.
yeah. So I feel like I think it's due to be in Buffalo.
I think it might be St. Francis again. My freshman year, 2017, it was St. Francis that hosted.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
immediately pushing a nice pace off the whistle.
yeah, because I knew I just had to get on him fast. Hit a nice high C. Um, Kind of had a little bit of a hard time finishing there for a second, but staying patient in that position.
And I was just
And
about to say that not rushing the finish was very important there too, because you saw that underhook that was slipped in there. If you had given him proper momentum, he was probably going to
right,
look to roll through there, and you could have went from getting the takedown to being taken down now.
yeah, no, I think definitely I used my wrestling IQ like since I've been wrestling for a while. Kind of just I knew like I had to get on him early, and I was watching some of his matches and saw if other guys got on him early, like just kind of wanted to take it to him. Um, but yeah, I felt really good in that match. Like I wasn't nervous at all. I kind of just adrenaline, was feeling really good.
You've given a really good job here riding on the wrist here, for looking to collect that cross wrist.
Yeah, and that we were wearing the I was wearing the our retro Nike singlets. It's cool for the finals.
I was gonna say I've always liked those singlets though.
Yeah, but they we usually wear the Under Armour ones, which I like these ones better. There, we wore them for a couple home duels this year.
Which home duels did you wear them for
But
this
yeah, I
year?
kind of riding them for a while. We wore them for St. John's and St. Anthony's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Little Long Island rivalries.
Yeah, we didn't have as many home duels as we usually do this year, but yeah, taking twos back here and um yeah, just as I was saying before, being patient in those positions and not getting too
Oh yeah. I know we mentioned it a little bit before. Um, you also do your own media as well.
yes.
Um, Kind of talk to us about how you kind of got into that. Yeah, like how you got into that, where that started for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was saying before, so kind of during COVID, I was like making like stupid videos, like vlogs and stuff. And then my mom signed me up for the film camp, which led to me going to Chaminade. Um, and lacrosse is huge here on Long Island. There's a lot of like media coverage, so I actually started filming freshman year, Chaminade freshman football, filmed a bunch of their games, and then word kind of spread and kind of turned into my own freelance business. I do stuff for Chaminade. I'm part of Element Media. I'm um, one of the officers in the club. So we do like it's student driven. So we do all of the social media stuff for the school. So it's not like outside professionals. It's student run. So uh, which I think is a really good thing. So I
That
do
is
that at Chaminade, and then on the side I have my freelance business, which I do videos, a lot of lacrosse stuff. To be honest, that's my main market. But I really enjoy it. I think it's really unique. Something that like most wrestlers are just I wrestle, I go to school.
yeah.
But I kind of like to have that balance. It's really nice. So I'm not always thinking about wrestling outside of school. I just you know I think that's really great, and it's a great creative outlet for me. And um, yeah, I love it. So I've done a ton of videos for Garden City, my hometown, and it's kind of like a nice way to stay connected to the community. Um, so yeah, so I yeah, that's the videography, and I love doing it.
100%. And I believe it's Luke Griffin Productions, right?
Yep.
Is the name of it? Yes,
Yes.
I've seen a little bit of what you do as well, and you do amazing work and everything like that. So I can only.
Yes. I'll have a documentary coming out. I went up to Albany with Finn O'Brien, who was um, our qualifier. He placed third last weekend, so did a little bit of filming with him, some interviews and stuff. So I'm excited to release that, in the coming week or so.
That's exciting, and please let me know when that comes out. I would love to share that and have everyone watch that because that sounds very
Absolutely,
awesome. I can't
yeah.
wait. Um, and with that, anything you would like to say to the people watching at home?
Yeah, it's been fun wrestling in the CHSAA for the past 4 years. And you know, I can't wait to see what the section does. I mean, honestly, like with all, I mean, we had how many placements did we have this
I
year?
think we had 12 out of
12?
13 plays.
Yeah. I mean, like
12 out of 13.
that's
That's an
amazing.
insane number.
And we finished third as a section, right?
Third is a section, and St. Francis won it as a team,
Yeah, which is amazing. But
right?
the funny thing, funny enough, uh, section nine won it, right? I think.
I think it was
Or
section 9 or 8 that won as a section. It was one of
yeah,
those.
I think we finished behind in third behind section nine in Suffolk County.
Yeah.
And section nine, at least, they had 3 entries per weight. And Nassau actually finished fifth. They had 3 entries per weight. So I mean, yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what the CHSA has in store. It's been amazing to watch. Like I was hearing from Coach Cole. I don't know if you remember Coach Dugo, the old coach at Chaminade. Um,
Probably.
yeah, he was telling us how like it's back in the 80s, 90s, like they would go there and try to not finish in last behind the PSAL. Like, it's just how the how everything has changed and how, you know, wrestling is such a big priority now in the Catholic League.
It is, and it's such a great thing that you mentioned that too, because I even think that a large part of the wrestling community upstate this past weekend kind of witnessed it too. Us only getting one bid to the state tournament and finishing as well as we did.
And I
Um,
think I saw like all the guys like this year, like everyone was super close. Like I was at the practice the night before, like they did like a prayer and everything. So I think the CHSA section is like really close, although like we all, are vying for that spot at Albany. Like at the end of the day, like we get so close towards the end of the season, we see each other at the duels, leagues,
oh yeah,
Catholic states, public states. And it's like, I'll hang out. I was hanging out with the St. Francis kids and some of the St. Anthony's kids and my shaman kids, but like it's just like at the end of the day, we're all Catholic kids, and
yeah.
gathering for prayer. Like that's special.
That is very special, and that really is like a very special moment that was captured over this past weekend because it really doesn't encapsulate like yes, for the most part of the season we all represent different teams, but we all also represent the same goal. We are
Yeah,
all Catholic young men. We are all essentially vying for that spot on the podium to represent our section. At
yeah,
the end of the day, once we do it, we all wear the same singlet afterwards. We all have that CHSAA on our chest, those
yeah.
crosses on our
It's
back.
it's special. Yeah,
It
it's special.
is.
Like no, none of the other sections kind of have that. Like I think we're the closest section. Like everyone's cheering for each other at the state tournament. Like we all just want the best for each other at the end of the day.
100%. It really is beautiful to kind of see that.
Yeah,
Because we are competitive, but like I said, we do share that same ultimate goal. And as wrestlers, we understand what it takes to get there. So that respect for each other is even driven even more because we know what it takes. We know what the other guy's probably putting himself through, and we all see that.
yeah, 100%.
So with that, I will be signing off. This is Luke Griffin joining us. Thank you so much for coming out. And like I said, I know you have a very busy schedule, so it means a lot that you're able to come on our podcast and run down your career and everything with us and go over your finals match. Um, like I said, anything you'd like to say to everybody at home one last time?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm looking forward to watching the CHSAA section, see how we do. Hopefully, we get another bid to Albany. Yeah, so thank you everyone for the support, and to you, Dan, thank you for what all you and your brother do. It's amazing to watch. And for me, as someone who does media just like you guys, it's it's a lot of work. I know the time and effort that goes into it. I hear you guys, but yeah, it's amazing that we have a platform to kind of give our section the love it deserves.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, brother. And you do take care of yourself. And if there is anything that our platform could offer you and help you with, do not hesitate to reach out. Okay?
Absolutely. All right.
No
Thank you.
no problem. God bless, brother.
You too. Bye.